Hey everyone, Luke here. Now, I know this is a little bit late out, the review, but I was busy yesterday and I was too tired, so I figured I'll just move it on to Tuesday and do the review on Tuesday. And besides, like we said in the last review, we expected that this chapter would be a wind down chapter, so nothing major would be happening. Although it was still a good chapter, still like a nice little slice of life chapter. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just dive right into it because it's probably one of the funniest chapters we've seen in a while. Which contrasts with the music from the intro there. So yeah, funny chapter that contrasts with the music there being like this whole spy thriller thing. But yeah, like I said, it's a wind down chapter which we kind of expected, but it's still a good wind down chapter because it's the one that we all expected would be happening, with Kyorichio getting the, as he calls it, the mental torment. And after this chapter, after what he goes through, yeah, I'm not blooming surprised. Like, it's great that we finally okay, there are limits to what even he can take, and he is one of the creepiest characters. Well, mind you, he's not been that creepy in a while. Like, that's something I think a lot of people haven't noticed. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that about Kyorichio's character. It's like he hasn't really been doing the things that we expect him to do for a while, which just goes to show, like, hey, his character has evolved and has improved. I mean, he's still creepy at times, like the time when he mentally tormented I, but then again, that was half a year ago. So it's kind of interesting how we've seen him in this kind of like different light for the most part. But anyway, let's yeah, and this chapter really gets into like how different he is, and and like I said to Pyjams when we did the Discord, when we did the stream the other day, I think after this point he's going to kind of like mellow out a lot more, like not be as creepy anymore, and not be as like, hey Tayo, you're being a bit too lovey-dovey there with Mootsme. Yeah, you're gonna have to be punished for that. Mind you, he probably would still do that. Like, he's like, hey, you can be lovey-dovey, just not in my presence. Like, he's probably gonna be like that from now. But anyway, the chapter is 130 and it's titled Elder Brother's Family Day of Payback, although it should really be called Kyorichio's Day of Mental Torment. Because that would be an appropriate title. But yeah, so anyway, it starts off because, like we said, for what he did, for like going off and trying to do everything without involving the family. Yeah, he has to be punished for that. So he starts off with Futaba basically indulging in her spoiled little brat persona, even though she's the second eldest. She's the second eldest, and I love the fact that Kyorichio just has like the slight like repenting, and he's just being calm and collective, but he's probably cringing on the inside. He's giving Futaba potato chips, and she's just there lying back with her hands, claiming that they're broken, even though they're totally fixed at this point. Like, because Nanano can probably fix injuries in like a split second like that, and she's probably just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna pretend that they're still broken, just so that Kyorichio can pamper me a bit more. So we see her just being like, oh, Kyorichio, give me a potato chip, please, and he's just like, yes, here. Next page, please. Yes, dear, I'm flipping it now. He's probably got that like, oh, fine, the sooner I get this over, the better. And you just see Tayo and Mootsme in the background just being like, I don't know what to make of this. But I think Tayo's like, yeah, I don't know what to make of this, because I've always seen Kyorichio in a serious light. To see him being basically a servant to Futaba and everyone, yeah, that's kind of a rare sight for him to see, although he's probably just enjoying it mentally on the inside. Like, finally, after everything Kyorichio has put me through. It's finally time he got his comeuppance, because he says, yeah, what a sight. Like, I didn't expect to see this. Like, this is probably what Tyler's say, thinking, I didn't expect to see this, but I'm loving it. And Musume mentions, like, yeah, it's the day of Kyorichio making everything up to them. And Futaba is just like, even if you're doing this for all our sakes, it's insane that you'd lower yourself to this. Yeah, it is kind of insane, but it shows just how dedicated Kyorichio is to anything. Like, I don't know if you know, it's like Kyorichio is so super dedicated to everything. Like, when it comes to his family, like, he's super dedicated to them to the point that he would lower himself to the level of just their insides, because he's huge, despite the fact he's a bit crazy. He's probably the craziest out of all of them. I feel like with all the shenanigans and everything going around him, yeah, he's probably the most sane out of, like, he's crazier than all of them, but when it comes to, like, their wacky shenanigans, he's probably the most insane of all. He's probably not the most insane, he's probably the most probably the most sane out of all of them, and to see him at this level just shows, like, yeah, he is super dedicated to anything. Like, you could probably put him in, like, if Keigo came up to me and said, hey, I want to do a play, and I want someone to be Cinderella, so Kyorichio, please be Cinderella, he probably would do that. We see Futaba, and also got to point out the fact that Futaba, because she's in, like, a casual outfit, just like a t-shirt and shorts. Hey, that's the same outfit I'm wearing right now. T-shirt and shorts. Oh, you don't believe me? No, okay. Let me just, how do I show this? Okay, so you can see wearing a t-shirt, short. Okay, how am I going to show this? Okay, let me just. See? There, same outfit. Shorts, t-shirt. Same as Futaba. Okay, now, in all seriousness, I didn't do that just to imitate Futaba because she's my favourite character. I seriously did not do that. It's just the fact that I just wanted something casual myself, like, kind of like Futaba. I just wanted something casual myself, so I just picked, like, the most casual thing out of my wardrobe and just, like, t-shirt, shorts, great, fine, that's great. But yeah, in all seriousness, I do love the fact that Futaba is in a casual outfit, and she has a number two t-shirt because she's the second eldest of the Yozakura family. I can imagine that all the Yozakuras, like Musume included, probably has like I don't know, an apron that just has the number 10 on it. Now that I've said that, that's going to come into fruition. So yeah, continuing on, we have Futaba just again being just like the spoiled about, just being like getting her foot in Kyorichio's face, and just be, well now today's a day to reflect upon the joy of having a family, Kyorichio. If you understand that, then please hurry up and massage my feet. And Kyorichio is just like, hey, don't get carried away, Futaba. Like, he's getting to that level of, like, this is too cringy even for me. I'm not massaging Futaba's feet. And Kyorichio's like, and Futaba's like, oh, well then, instead of using my hands while they recover, how about some Ayaka energy with my feet, as she uses her Ayaka energy to kind of like make a energy attack that flips Kyorichio spinning round and round and round and round and round, and Tyler's like, yeah, no mercy. And yeah, Futaba, you're just BSing here. Your hands are completely fine. You just want Kyorichio to massage your feet and be like the spoiled pampered brat at this point. Okay, now this is something I wasn't expecting. The fact that the outfit that we normally see Futaba in is that like frilly dress that she's always constantly wearing. Yeah, that's a bit more in frame there. But yeah, the frilly dress, and even like the wig that she wears, which doesn't make any sense because it seems like she's always got that hairstyle. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Futa, but yeah, because she mentions that the frilly dress is her combat gear, and I'm just like, really? That's her combat gear, not something else. Like I always thought that was just like a regular, that was just like a formal outfit that she wear, but no, it's combat gear. And Polly Jones was not as surprised as me because she's like, well, we always see her in that outfit. We assumed it would be combat gear, but really? Okay, I guess we'll go. I'm not complaining. It's a good look for Fruitaba to have that outfit, but again, it's a formal frilly dress, so like, why would you wear that into combat? And she mentions that it's stiff as well. Like, okay, I don't really get it myself, but all right, I guess we will go on with it. And God, damn it, I keep forgetting like how like the angle of the camera. Like, you know what? Let's just move on before I do something completely stupid here. So yeah, she mentions that now that she doesn't have it on, she's got enough time to relax her muscles and give it a relief. As we see, Shinzo carrying Shion as sort of like a black frog, because Shion's got her knees leaned up into Shinzo's arms, so like he's carrying her all pretty much like a trophy, or a black frog as they call it. And it turns out that Shion was in her room for so long, so it's got to be about like a few days after the whole incident with Momo. I would say it's probably been about a week. So it's probably given Kyorichio time to like, okay, this day is coming, I've got to mentally prepare myself for it. So anyway, Shion was in her room for so long, and she thought, Shinzo thought, oh, I'll give her some lights because that will make all the difference. And Tayo's like, oh, is she a plant? Well, considering Sabumi's a tree, sure, why not? But yeah, it turns out that she was doing so much coding that she'd forgotten that, okay, I've been in my room for about like 6-7 days at this point. But anyway, Kyorichio is just like, oh, Shinzo, can I help you with something? Actually, please, just help me, just get me out of this. Like, yeah, that is back when Kyorichio's like, yeah, I have had enough of this, I just want to bail right now, so Shinzo, can you help me? But he's like, I'm good, thanks. He's probably thinking like, no, you deserve this, Kyorichio, so you're gonna go on with this. Before we see Keigo coming on, being as expressive as he can be, quite literally, because he's got no clothes on. But being as expressive as he can be, and he's like, this is our chance to boss him around all we want. So yeah, let's just take advantage of this to the nth degree. And he's like, oh, ouch, ouch, and he's like, oh, I'll chop it. And who is this saying this? It's Fruit. It's Fruitaba. It's Fruitaba. Oh right. Because it's Fruitaba. Because Keigo's completely naked, and we know what Fruitaba is referring to here. It's like, yeah, there are some things you just don't do, and like being naked in front of your siblings, like, Keigo, we all love you, but seriously, you need to put some clothes on every once in a while. Because remember what happened the last time you didn't have clothes on? You sneezed, and everybody got the injection from Narano, and we all know how well that turned out. So yeah, you might want to think about just at least put some shorts on. So continuing on, Keigo's like, okay, come on, Kyorichio, time to apologise, time for the apology massage from your cute little brother. And Musume is just comparing this to hell, like, say, this is a scene from hell, as we see Kyorichio's head pressed in, how can I say this, like, Kyorichio's head pressed in Kengo's, that is behind, yeah, and Kyorichio is just like cringing here by saying your nerves are impressive, Kengo. But in his mind, he's thinking like, this is hell. this is literal hell for me. And it can't get much worse than that. Yeah, yeah, it can, Kyorichio. You are not prepared for what is to come, and it is something that I have been saying for quite some time. Not in the videos, but in the streams that me and Pydra have been doing. This is kind of something I've been like, yeah, this was probably going to happen eventually at some point, but we'll get into it when we get into it. Kyorichio's like, oh, fine. If that's the case, I'll soak my fine. I'll smoke my fine and supplement steel spider in oil, glide it across the skin with thread. So basically, making a healing thread kind of combat Keigo, and Keigo just can't take it, which is Kyorichio's way of saying like, oh, it's all bark and no bite. So it's like, yeah, Keigo can dish it out. I don't know why I keep saying Keigo, but yeah, Keigo can dish it out, but he can't take it. So he's basically a fire type in Pokemon. Yeah, actually, that would be interesting. Like, comment below, anyone who sees this video, comment below what each members of the Yozakura family, and you can include you can include Ayaka, you can include Bam, the grandmother, you can include basically anyone that's lived with for a substantial amount of time with the Yozakura family. Comment below what the Pokemon types they would be. Like, I assume Keigo would be a fire type. Kyorichio definitely would be a poison. Well, no, Nanano would be the poison type. Kyorichio would be the dark type. But I'd like to know what other types you think the other characters would have. Like, what type I would be. What type Mutsumi would be. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what that would be. But yeah, continuing on, Kyorichio's like, oh, all talk and no bite. He's like getting confident, like, oh, that was easy with Keigo. I think I could take it on. So who's next? Come on, don't be shy. And we see Nanano, Goliath, and I just giving out their demands, and Kyorichio is probably thinking like in disorder. It's like, okay, yeah, now you want me to try out some new meds? Okay, that seems easy, even though it's probably gonna hurt a lot. I can still take that. Oh, Goliath, you want to go on Mount Fujiwalkies? Okay, it's not something I really do, but it's something I can probably take. Okay, so what do you want to do, Like, he's probably like, okay, so what do you want to do, And I is just glimmering with delight. It's like, yes. I is probably thinking like, yes. After that mental torment Saturday training, I can finally give him some mental torment. And she's just gleaming with delight. And it's just like, yes, this is my chance. And she's like, let's play house together with you as the baby. And Kyorichio probably is just like, at that point, just like, please get me out of this. That is probably what he's thinking right now. Just like, please, let's just let this day be over with. But he's like, and you see Tayo and Mutsumi in the background, just like, you're not really gonna do this, are you? Like, that's like, I am not even joking. Like, you see them right there. They're giving like, yeah. They're giving the look like, he's not really going to do this, is he? And it turns out that, yeah, he is actually going to do this. So we see him doing Nanano's thing, which makes him throw up. Okay, yeah, that is bad when even something makes Kyorichio throw up. But again, it's given a lot into his character here, because he's been, for the most part, throughout the series, he's been like this creepy bastard who's just been taking advantage of everyone, or in their eyes being seen as being taken advantage of, being pushing them to their limits. So now it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see him in like the back seat now, taking all of this in. And I think, again, after this point, he's going to be mellowing out. It's like, yeah, maybe I should not be as creepy as I have been, because then it's gonna only come back to bite me. So we see him giving the walks to Goliath on Mount Fuji as rocks keep being him. So even in chapters where he's not gonna get a beating, he's not gonna get like the big bump on his head, he still gets the big bump on his head. It's like he can't even take a break from that. But the worst thing is here is when you see the bib, you see I using Kyorichio to be her baby, which is something that I have been saying for a while, not with Kyorichio, but with Ayaka. I imagine because Ayaka is so in love with both Tayo and Musume, she would do practically anything for them. So when it comes to like them deciding like, oh yeah, when we're a bit older, maybe since we've been taking care of I, maybe we should start thinking about having children of our own to pass down the Yozakura family line. And I would be and they'd be like, yeah, but we don't really know about taking care of a baby. And Ayaka would be like, I could be your baby for a day. And it would just be a whole chapter of just treating Ayaka as a baby. But yeah, we haven't got that yet, but I kind of half predicted that was going to happen, and yeah, didn't expect it in this way, but it's nice that Kyorichio is getting this mental torment from I when she herself went through the mental torment, went through the mental torment, and it's mentioned like, okay, Kyorichio's day of payback is nearing its end, and Musume I think is like, okay, yeah, I think he's been through enough now. You can go to bed. And she's just like, okay, well, good night, baby Kyorichio. Which, that's the first time that, outside of Tayo and Musume, that's the first time that I has said one of the other Yozakura siblings by name. So, big step for her there. Like, it's not something that I think a lot of people like kind of know, and it's something that I didn't bring up in the live stream. But yeah, first time that I is mentioning one of the Yozakura siblings by name there. So yeah, nice touch to show that, yeah, she's feeling a lot more confident in herself to be like, okay, I've been around these people for so long, they're my family, so now maybe I should start addressing them by their actual names, but as opposed to Tayo and Mutsumi. So yeah, that's kind of a neat detail that the author kind of put in there, like showing like Aya is not like scared anymore. She's like really embraced her role as like the baby of the Yozakura family. Yeah, because she is the youngest, and yeah, let's just be honest, she's a member of the Yozakura family now. Eventually we're going to get to the chapter where she's in kindergarten, and her name's just going to be, let me introduce you to Yozakura. And when that happens, I am just going to be so happy, because it's like, yeah, that proves, like, yeah, she is a member of the family now, like Tayo, even though Tayo doesn't use the Yozakura last name. I feel like I is most certainly going to be using the Yozakura last name. But anyway, Musume sends I off to bed, and she's like, oh, well done, Kyorichio, you made it through your day of mental torment, and Kyorichio's just like there, feeling like, please, let's not speak about this day after today. He's just like in that mode of like, this was complete mental torture training, and yeah, like I said, this is payback for the mental torment and training that you put I through Kyorichio. But yeah, Musume's like, oh, now in appreciation for your hard day of work, I'll rub your shoulders, as we see her get out gauntlets with spikes on, which you'd figure that this would be something like Tayo would do after all the craziness, after all the threats of like, yeah, I'm gonna do something to you, Tayo, with like all these crazy contractions. You figure that Tayo would be the one to be like, let me use the gauntlets, please. This is my only chance I'll ever get to mentally torment Kyorichio in the way he's been mentally tormenting all of us. So please let me do it. And Musume's like, no. He's been doing it way longer to me, so now it's my turn to do the mental tormenting on him. As you see her just being like gleaming eyes of like, yes, I've been waiting for this day for so long. And Kyorichio's like, yeah, I can sense a faint murderous intent. Yeah, Yeah, I'm not blooming surprised, Kyorichio. You should have seen this coming a mile off. Musubi mentions that Shinzo and Shio made them for her, and shoulder cushion gauntlets so that they can give those stiff, so they can give those stiffifying shoulders of creatures a good massage. And Musume is just grateful for all the trouble he goes through for all of them. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, the power is set to minimum, but they're so strong that it nearly breaks Kyorichio's neck." And it's like, I think I can see heaven. But of course, she eventually gets them under control, and this is where we get like probably the most beautiful moment of the chapter, because it's the first time that Kyorichio and Mutsumi are having a conversation where it's not creepy at all. Like, this is like a genuine, like, I care about you, and I care about you, like, kind of that moment of like, yeah, even though I've been creepy to you, like, you're still my sister, and I'm still going to protect you. And she's like, yeah, even though you've been a scumbag, you're still my brother, and I still love you for that. And we're going to have this moment where no holds bar, no BS, no like creepy thing. It's just a genuine conversation between a brother and a sister. As they're like, they had no idea what Milmo was thinking anymore, and they felt like none of the words would reach him, and they could hardly speak. And if Kyorichio hadn't done what he did, then they wouldn't have known like what the insane plan for Momo is, which is true. Like, if he hadn't have gone to confront Momo, then they would have been like, "Oh, we've got to find him right now. We've got to cure him," and then they would have found out like Momo's plan. So she's kind of understanding, like, yeah, even though we're paying you back for what you did, I understand what you did, and I am grateful for that. And Mitsumi's like, "Oh, I'm really hopeless. Without you, I can't do anything." And Kyorichio went, No, it's actually the opposite, Mutsumi. It's because I have you that I can do everything. So it's kind of like, this is kind of like establishing like what their relationship truly is. It's like, yeah, it's like, because of you, Mutsumi, I have something to live for. Like, and not just you, but also the whole Yozakura family. And it's because of you guys that I can actually give it my all. So like, he's like, yeah, he's pretty much established, like, yeah, everyone in the Yozakura family, and I think he includes Tayo. I think he includes Tayo, Ayaka, and Aina, because of them, because of what they've been doing, and it's kind of pushed him to be the best he is. He's kind of grateful for them. But of course, Kyorichio at this point is like, because she's given such a soothing massage, he actually sleeps. And this is quite interesting because she mentions that Kyorichio never sleeps. He uses special techniques to keep himself awake almost all the time to protect them. So if I want to get to sleep, it requires a lot of work. So you figure that's the reason why he always has his eyes closed. That's kind of like a psych moment. Like, people think like, oh, is he asleep? Okay, we can attack him. And then he's thinking like, psych, I'm not really asleep. So maybe that's the reason why he has his eyes closed all the time. Which is kind of a neat detail if that's the case. Like, that's the reason why he keeps his eyes closed all the time. It's to fool people into thinking he is asleep. But anyway, continuing on, he says, they say like, Mutsumi says this is exactly why we must all work together as a family. So yeah, pretty much all of them coming together as a family unit, because it's because of the kind of person Kyorichio is, that he gives himself up for his family all the time, and that they have to all step up to the plate in order to give him a break as well. So I feel like after this point, Kyorichio is probably going to take more of a step back for being like the strongest member of the Yozakura. I mean, he's still going to be the strongest member, but he's kind of going to be like, okay, I need to take a step back, and I need to like have faith in my family, and have faith that they can do this without my interference. So they all gather around him, and they're like, oh, rest well, Kyorichio. But of course, because he's asleep, it's the first time probably in ages that like, okay, he's definitely asleep, which means we can do the Jigglypuff thing and graffiti his face. And they start graffiti his face, giving him like a fake tash, swirly eyes, and they're like, oh, just a little bit, we almost never get a chance like this. And they're like, oh no, stop. So yeah, it's kind of funny that they're like that. Yeah, he's asleep now, so we can do the graffiti thing. Yeah, so Muse-Me is just like, oh no, stop, just stop right now. But Kane goes like, oh come on, you know you want to do it, Muse-Me. And she's like, no, I really got, well, okay, maybe just a little. And she actually makes, like, over his eyelids, it's like, makes eye pupils for him, so that like to kind of simulate like, oh yeah, he is still awake. As we see, someone has drawn a poo sign with KYO, obviously Kyorichio, and another one is like Yozakura #1, and another one's like, thank you, always, you have my respect. Somebody put Sister Simp, which, yeah, that is perfect for Kyorichio. And of course, I and Goliath draw himself on his face, and someone draws a speech bubble with Mute-Me in it, as we have like everyone going, I've got even more pens, everyone join in, and they're all saying like, oh, Mute-Me, you should stop there, it's so fun, I can't stop. Shinzo, what are you writing? I'll do it just a little. Let's make a game of it. That's actually creepier. Instead of teasing him, it's better to express the gratitude I have for him every day. Okay, so yeah, Shinzo was the one saying that, and Keigo's like, yeah, that's even creepier. And Keigo's like, oh, if we do this, then we could just blame it on Tayo. And he's like, and Tayo's like, no, I don't want to die before we get the ending of the chapter, which is like a message from Momo coming through for Mute-Me, and that's where the chapter ends. So, like I said, really just a slice of life, laid back chapter, but has a twist at the end. Which, again, this is what I love most about the Yozakura Slice of Life chapters, is that they have something that's going to be integral to the plots later, which is something I don't think Spy X Family has ever done. The Slice of Life chapters have been separate from the plot chapters, where they should both be intertwined with each other. So that's my main criticism of Spy X Family, and why I prefer Yozakura, because Yozakura's Slice of Life chapters can be incorporated into plot. Like, you might think that all of those chapters with Kyorichio interacting with his siblings, and Shinzo being stepping up to the plate to be like the big brother of the Yozakura family. Yeah, you think like, oh, they're just father chapters, not important, but no, that was actually meant to develop the characters, so that when we got to the arc where Kyorichio did disappear, it actually had an impact on them, and it actually showed like, okay, yeah, they do generally care about this person, even though he is a creep half the time. Now, what the message Momo will be giving, we have no idea. It could be a ploy to get Mute-Me out on her own, but everyone's gonna be like, yeah, that's an obvious trap, Mute-Me, don't fall for it. But we'll just have to wait and see. So anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.